So there are many ways of ensuring food security. One of the ways is for production to continue taking place, for people to get their hands dirty by going to the farms and making sure that they produce food for the people, for all people in a country. People living in urban areas, they need food. People in cities. You saw what happened when we had COVID-19 the other day. People had to get food from rural areas. So, but there is one thing that we have never thought about, or some of you have thought about. The issue of having a seed bank. Countries have seed banks at the national level, but what will happen if those seed banks are destroyed by disaster? Or what will happen if those seed banks are destroyed by a crisis? So they have to have somewhere where they keep those seeds, and their not only seeds but also their genetic makeup. So there is some scientists decided to have a central place where all countries, all organizations which are involved in having seed banks where they keep some spare, so that in case of a disaster they can go back to that and continue with life. So if something happens and the whole world is in a mess, so at least there would be somewhere to run to. So there is a seed bank, a seed vault in Norway. It is called Svalbard. The word starts with an S, but the S is silent. So Svalbard Global Seed Vault in Norway. It is built in an island, and that island has an airport nearby, so the infrastructure is good. If you want to travel from any part of the world to Norway, to where there is this Svalbard Global Seed Vault, you can always access it very easily, because that small town where it is located, there is a city there. There is an airport. So let us dig into this story, which is published on Crossy.com. So Svalbard Global Seed Vault is also known as Doomsday Vault. This is a doomsday vault. You can even see what it looks like. It is in a place which is not easily accessible by people who are not authorized. Then they have dug into the hill. The hill is made up of rocks, but they chose this place because they have permafrost. They have that ice which is there permanently. So the place is already cold. They can be as cold as -3 degrees Celsius. But they have used electricity and deep freezers. They have something like a fridge or a deep freezer inside which those seeds are kept. So they have controlled the environment inside that storage, that vault. They use technology to do that. So they can control the recommended temperature for storage of seeds. It's around -18 degrees Celsius. And these seeds can be stored there for over 2 centuries, 200 years. So in case of a disaster where we lose everything globally, or because of war, if we are not going to the farms, we destroy the seed banks, which are already existing in our countries, we will always go for copies from this place. So let us look into this story closely. Alright. So, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault is located 1,300 kilometers beyond the Arctic Circle in Norway. So the seeds from around the world and their genetic codes are stored here in readiness for a potential apocalypse. Apocalypse is like a complete destruction of the world. Apocalypse. Let's check it out. What does it mean? The end of the world. If there is the end of the world, apocalypse is the word that means the end of the world, or something so destructive that it seems like the world has ended, like an event of a major earthquake. If that happens, apocalypse. Let's check the pronunciation of that. Apocalypse. Okay. Why is that pronunciation? Here.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. Apocalypse. Again?
Apocalypse. Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. So if an apocalypse happens, so this Svalbard Global Seed Vault is located 1,300 kilometers beyond the Arctic Circle in Norway. Seeds from around the world and their genetic codes are stored here in readiness for a potential apocalypse. Apocalypse. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food of Norway is responsible for operations. It's responsible for operations of Svalbard Global Seed Vault. Ministry of Agriculture and Food. It's responsible. I've been told visitors come with seeds. You're the one to receive them and then take them to the vault. The vault, which you have called the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. So the Ministry of Agriculture and Food is responsible. So at the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, there is a permafrost. There's a permafrost. Permafrost, That is what attracted them to that place. This permafrost. Permafrost. Permafrost, not frost. Frost. There's a permafrost. That's one of the things which attracted the scientists to that place. That is any ground that remains completely frozen, 0 degrees Celsius or colder, for at least 2 years straight. That is what they have. Permafrost. Permafrost, that's what they have. And that is one of the features which attracted the scientists who were setting up the Global Seed Vault to that country to Norway. That's what attracted them to Norway. So at this Svalbard Global Seed Vault, there is permafrost. Temperatures are maintained at -18 degrees Celsius, and Svalbard is the northernmost town in the world with its own airport. The seeds from all over the world arrived mostly via air transport. Then they are allocated space inside the mountain. The placement is recorded for ease of extraction when needed in future. Sudan is the latest country to send their seeds. Sudan is the latest country to send their seeds to Norway for storage. Other African countries which have sent their seeds for storage include Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and Ethiopia. They have their seeds stored, and also the genetic codes so that we can duplicate those seeds in case of a disaster. They are calling it apocalypse. In case of an apocalypse. So the vault is fully funded by Norwegian government. The seed bank is 130 meters inside a mountain or on Spitsbergen Highland in Norway. There are no permanent staff located on the facility. This was the best site because it lacks tectonic activities and it has permafrost. So there is no possibility of having a volcanic eruption there. That is why they like that place. That's one reason. The other reason is permafrost. Permafrost, as we had, is a place which is permanently frozen for over 2 years. at a temperature of 0 degrees Celsius. Now, to make matters well, in this place in Norway, the temperatures with the permafrost is -3 degrees Celsius for over a period of 2 years. So it's like an insurance. It's like you are insured. So when you have your fridges, you have your deep freezers for storage of seeds, you also have permafrost. If anything goes wrong, that place is already cold. So the vault will be accessed frequently when chimney banks around the world lose their samples due to accidents, fire, equipment failure, and funding cuts. The Economist says that Svalbard Global Seed Vault is a backup for 1,750 seed banks around the world. So how are the seeds stored? How are the seeds stored? That's a question which is very important. So the seeds, once they arrive at the vault, they are stored in airtight aluminum bags. Each bag contains an average of 500 seeds, depending on size. The vault has a capacity of 5.4 million samples. By 2025, a total of 1.3 million samples had been stored in the vault. And remember, they indicate the name of the seeds, where they come from, and such a details, which country, who brought them there, because it is the only person or organization which brought the seeds is the only one who can request for them later on. So apart from governments and institutions, also indigenous peoples have started storing their seeds and gene codes at this place, at this vault in Norway. So this is really a good initiative. It's one of the best initiative, one of the most influential initiative. Remember, people from around the world, they are storing their seeds there and the genetic codes of those seeds. So I think up to this point now you are up to date. If you are new here, please feel at home. Make sure you subscribe before you leave. Make sure you like, comment, and share. See you in the next episode.